Thursday is going to be a really tough game. I mean, it's a really, again, another oddity of the schedule is playing in California, ending on a long road trip, and then playing 2 days later at home. Usually a team coming home from a long road trip like this, especially one on the West Coast, would get an extra day there. So the Wild had to make a really tough decision, fly home after the game and have everybody be lethargic today because they got back at 4 or 5 in the morning, or have them get a good night's sleep last night and then fly home all day today and get home at 4 p.m. I think that's what they chose. I would have not done that. I've seen it before. I mean, they've gotten back from 4 p.m. You got the time change that they've been dealing with for a week and a half. I mean, tomorrow is the Thursday game has all the makings of heavy legs and bad legs, and so it's going to be a tough game. And they've got to, for a team that needs a lot of points right now and need to get on a run, they've got to figure out a way to put that outside their. They can't afford any excuses, but the reality is that the way they feel is the way they feel, and if they come out lethargic tomorrow, it wouldn't shock me at all.
Let's talk about the changes in NHL travel real quickly before we get to more hockey issues. Do want to thank Tin Shed. Again, go to their website, tinshedmn.com. You'll see Michael Russo's face on the website. They have 2-for-1 happy hours, $5 happy hour drinks, $5 happy hour appetizers, 2-for-1 all day on everything. Michelob Light and Coors Light pints. Buy one, get one free pizza on Mondays. Kids eat free Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They also have NFL games on here, and they have a million big screen TVs, as everybody who has come out to the shows knows. And you can also call them at 952-736-2444. If there's anybody out there who still uses their phone to make phone calls, that would be one way to do it. Again, tinshedmn.com. You and I have been doing this for a long time, and in the old days, athletes used to fly commercial. Mm-hmm. Then they went to the charters, but they were always trying to save nights in hotels by flying out immediately after games. Now we're at a point where, because of sleep studies, more and more teams are staying over and then flying back. I don't know. I don't know. As you said, I don't know if that's any better for them.
Yeah, I mean, I just think this one's really tough. I mean, it's either fly home and being exhausted all day today and having worried that it's going to affect tomorrow, or stay there, fly home all day. At least they got a good night's sleep last night, a good night's sleep maybe tonight. But I would have flown home. I just think that tomorrow, coming back at 4 today and then immediately playing a home game is all the makings of a bad game. But we'll see. But you're right. I mean, they've done all this. Teams are also superstitious. If one thing works one time, they do it again, or vice versa. This trip, it was a bizarre one. I mean, because of the off days in between, no back-to-backs. In Anaheim, because there's a curfew at the San Jose airport, and they didn't want to fly into Oakland, they spent the night in Anaheim, practiced in Anaheim, and then flew to San Jose. That's very rare that happens. Same thing, spent the night in San Jose, flew to Phoenix. Practiced in San Jose, flew to Phoenix. That rarely ever happens. Same thing. And then going to Phoenix, they decided to fly after the game because they wanted to especially have an extra night there in LA. But it was weird. I mean, they had four nights in Los Angeles between the Phoenix game and coming home on Wednesday. And in a lot of ways, it didn't shock me that they had a rookie party, a couple 2-3 nights off in LA. It didn't shock me that yesterday was not the sharpest game, that's for sure.
What goes into a rookie party?
Rookie party is usually just a rookie pays, but there is a maximum. But because Luke Cunnin, Jordan Greenway, and Ryan Donato had never ever been a part of a rookie party, I guess with Ryan it was sort of the honor system. Carson Soucy wasn't the only one that had to shell out some wallet. So basically the rookies pay for dinner. And then there's a maximum, and the rest, the overage is paid by the rest of the team.
Doesn't sound like a good deal for the rookies.
No, but this has been a tradition as long as I've covered the league for every team in the league. Glad we never had that as a beat writer, for sure. Because in Florida, I was the rookie writer with a bunch of, that was back in the newspaper wars of South Florida, where 3 newspapers traveling and radio people and all that would have stunk.
Now in baseball, at the
when
end
I was making $38,000 my first year as a beat writer,
I'm jealous.
That would have been tough.
Given what I made when I first started out in the business, baseball.
$38,900. I still remember my first salary is at the Sun Sentinel. Fred Turner pulls me in this office, and he's like, I was freelancing for a long time, and as a freelancer, I was essentially a full-time freelancer, so I was actually making more money. And so Fred pulls me in, he offers me the Panthers beat. Of course, I take it, and he's like, all right, how old are you? And I'm like, 21. He's like, how much experience do you have? I'm like, well, none. And he's got this chart, this like Tribune Company chart, and he's like, I just see his finger on the top bar going all the way left, and his finger on the bottom bar going all the way down.
You're going to owe us some money here.
And he goes, $38,900. I'm like, okay. And I walk out. I'm like, I just took a pay cut. So
I made it a brilliant move of starting off at $6 an hour with no benefits. That way, every job I got after that felt like a big promotion.
Well, that was my first salary when I was hired full time as a beat writer. I mean, I did the old hourly rate when I was working for the Sun Sentinel, answering calls, taking agate over the phone, and stuff like that.
I want to ask you about hazing in hockey. First, let me thank Fixology Repair, fixologyrepair.com. New shop in downtown St. Paul, right by the Wild offices and the XL Energy Center. Of course, the big shop out at Mall of America. There's one over Crown Bank in the Skyway in Minneapolis. They also have one in Toledo.
Hi, this is John with Fixology Repair. For the better part of a decade, we've been privileged to serve you for all of your jewelry, watch, and smartphone repair needs at the Mall of America. Since Minnesotans largely hate going to the mall, we expanded 2 years ago to reach you in the Minneapolis Skyway. And now this year, we're pleased to announce we have a new location at Wells Fargo Place in the St. Paul Skyway. All 3 shops are equipped to help with your watch and cell phone repair needs on site, while all jewelry, computer, and game consoles will be completed at the Mall of America store. Please bring us your repair challenges, and don't forget to mention the Talk North podcast for a 10% discount on all of our services.
So in baseball, at the end of every season, this is getting weaned out of the game a little bit, but they used to make the players, the rookies, dress up in ridiculous costumes. Sometimes they made them wear women's clothing. Sometimes it was like clown clothing or superhero clothing, something like that. Do they do that in hockey?
Not that I've ever seen. I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that we don't get to see behind the scenes, but I have never seen a lot of that. I'm distracted by the pull tabs. Sorry. You got a winner?
We're not going to talk about pull tabs again.
How much? I don't know how to read that
bucks.
stuff. What?
$100.
$100? Wow. Drinks on you.
No, Bert's got the bigger. Bert next one we buy it.
So the road trip ends up 2-2. I mean, there were a lot of seasons where they would have loved to go 2-2 on a West road trip. It just feels like the circumstance they put themselves in, it's like every loss feels like a...
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, they lost to a team that they'd beat up at home a couple weeks before.
Right.
And were at that point the worst team in the league. Having major controversy going into the game with Kovalchuk, starting a goaltender that was atrocious against the Wild here in Minnesota and has been atrocious all season long. Goals against at 4.3, a save percentage at the 860s, and the Wild made him look like the Jonathan Quick of old. And so it put a damper on the trip. And then the other thing is, again, I mean, these guys, look, fans out there, some are in that tanking phase, like every loss they're celebrating. But the reality is that these players are there to win. They don't. You think Zach Parise or Ryan Suter care if they get a number 1 pick? They want to win. And Bruce Boudreau is in the last year of his contract. He wants to win. So they know that going to L.A. and dropping that game yesterday is just an awful way to end a road trip. And for a team that's got 13 points and is now tied for the fewest points in the NHL, they also know that they've got to get on a big-time run here, win 5 in a row, win 6 in a row, win 7 out of 8. And every game in the last 7 or 8 has been winnable, and they just keep on dropping it, which to me shows me they are what they are. They're not a good hockey team. And so we're just seeing that right now. And there's just... I hate the term "it is what it is," but it is, and that's why yesterday I just decided I can't stomach the narrative after the game of how much they learned about themselves in a 2-2 road trip. I couldn't sit at my laptop and do it, so I had all this leftover stuff from a Fiala interview I did the day before, and he was the only guy in the game that even impressed me, and so I decided to write a Fiala story instead because I can't write, and I just can't. I couldn't stomach that story. That's just. Yeah.
So is Fiala?
Oh man, we're at game 18. How many? What's 82 minus 18? What is that?
64
games left.
Just
huh?
64.
We'll see if I make it.
Is Fiala looking any better to you?
Yeah, I mean, he is. But yet still, point blank yesterday, he's got the puck on his backhand, and he decides to somehow do like a 180 and shoot forehand into the corner. You know, it's just still drives you crazy. But he's absolutely playing with a lot more confidence. He seems to be working harder. He's not turning the puck over half as much. He's going into dirty areas. And what I tried to write today is that, like, you know, even me, like, I think there's a reason why he turns the puck over as much as he does. I think there's a reason why that one incident in Game 7 of the season in Montreal when he reached with one hand and bailed because he didn't want to get hit, there's a reason. This guy broke his femur. You know, let's have one of us go into a wall and have our femur broken and see if we're going to want him to go into that wall again with an oncoming forecheck. And so, you know, that was all I was trying to tell.
We'll do that after the show.
Yeah. That's all I was trying to say with the story is, but look, we're starting to see flashes of at least what Paul Fenton saw. And that Paul didn't just invent the fact that he thinks this guy has the skills to be a great player. And that goal that he scored in Arizona the other night was a great goal. And it was a great shift by him, too. It was a great shift by Koivu and Suter, Koivu and Parisi as well. And I can't remember the D. I think it was Hunt and Susi, maybe. I can't remember. But so we're starting to see that more and more. And now he's got to keep it up. He's got to be consistent. You know, last night it felt like he was alone on that line. You know, Parisi did not play well. Koivu, I thought, looked tired. Stahl, Zuccarello, a lot of those veterans looked bad last night. So I think Fiala, in a lot of ways, was alone on an island last night. So
Guerin did, I don't know if it was kind of a gathering or talking to the press. What did you get out of his little talk?
What I got out of the talk is that he knows his team isn't good enough. He would love to say, yeah, I get it. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for us to be awful this season and get a top draft pick, but he also can't come out and say it because he's got 20 players that want to win. And that's a tough thing. You can't, as a GM, be like, yeah, we suck, and I would love us to finish 31st so we can go get Biofield or Lafreniere or whatever his name is, and however you pronounce it. He can't just say that. He's got to worry about these guys because these guys will just quit. And I don't blame him. If all of a sudden you're just playing and you're investing everything into playing, and now you're just told, you know what, we're going to go finish 31st, and our GM's really looking forward to that, it's hard to come to the rink every day and put in the same effort. So he's in a tough position, but that's what I took from it, is that he knows that there's a lot of work to do on this team, and he's aware of it. And now it's just a matter of what is the next process to do, though. Do you go chase players, or do you go and let this thing end naturally, or do you start trading players for futures? There will come a checkpoint here where I think he does it, but he's got to make the right moves. You know, if you remember last year, Paul Fenton did nothing until January, and then it was boom, 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 boom. And I think we look at those trades now and think that they were arguably bad trades. And if Guerin doubles down on that and starts doing the same thing, it could really set this team even further back. I do think that when Billy says that Craig Leopold and him have had some honest conversations with his team, Craig has eyes. I think he realizes his team isn't a cup contender, and I think he's going to allow Billy to just proceed the way that Bill feels like he should. And what that means is Craig, I think, has resigned himself to, whether it's a rebuild or not, that there's going to have to be significant changes here, and he's content is definitely the wrong word, but he's accepting of the fact that they might have to take further steps back to take bigger steps forward. And fans are going to have to be patient with that. Rebuilds are not fun. I've been saying this for 2-3 years. Rebuilds are going to be agonizing. And also from an emotional standpoint, is that even the fans that are accepting of a rebuild are still going to just be freaking out with every loss. I mean, that's just it. You wear your heart on your sleeve as a fan, and so it's not a fun thing. It's not great for the business. Even if the fans come back at the end of the day, are they going to pay to come to the arena now? And so that's all tough stuff for a wild team that. Everybody in the business ops, I mean, they come to work every day to sell tickets and to make their fans happy. And it's not an easy job, even morale-wise, when you're coming every day and having to work to basically be told by your fans, no, I'm dissatisfied right now, but call me in 2-3 years when you guys are good.
Constant theme of speculation, and you've alluded to it often in your reporting has been the apparent